Good morning. It's Monday, December 27th, and I hope all of you had a nice Christmas weekend. I hope you didn't travel too far and put yourself in the gun sights of Omicron or Delta or something like that. In any event, this is the day after Christmas, and I read an article in Barron's magazine about retirees who are not spending enough of their money. Now, I don't know why Barron thinks it's necessary to tell a bunch of people how much money they ought to spend. People should spend whatever they feel comfortable spending. Now, if there are a large percentage of people who probably are in my class, where we have enough money, we made a good living, we have enough money stashed aside, we're very comfortable, that doesn't mean we should go out and spend all our money. You know, we have to consider our heirs and try to make sure that they are going to get a sizable chunk of whatever we have accumulated over the years, and there are methodologies to do that. You know, my son and I have developed a plan where we invest in certain things, and then when the dividends or the benefits that are distributed by those investments, they don't come to me, they are on my kids. And there are things like that that people should do, but I don't think that Barron should be telling people that they're not spending enough money. If a man has a huge retirement fund and a good pension, and he's set for life, he doesn't have to go out and buy a $100,000 car when a $30,000 or $40,000 car will suit him, and he's happy with that. Many people are happy, and one of the things that makes them happy is the fact that they can hang on to some of their money. And I would be much more concerned about the people in this country who don't have enough money to retire on, those who are forced to live on their Social Security, which is not great. And then there are many people in this country who did not plan properly, who made a good living, but they did not plan properly. I know that when I was running a company, quite often I would call people into the office because I knew what they were putting into their 401ks and everything. And we had a company match, and I would try to find out why they didn't contribute more. I would try to explain to them that the company would match more money up to a certain point. So why aren't you contributing more? And these were people who were making good salaries, but they didn't want to do it. For whatever reason, they were spending the limit on their salaries and everything, and they did not feel it was necessary to save for the future. Well, those people made big mistakes, and many of them, probably most of them are retired by now, and I think most of them are doing okay as far as I know. The few I know, the few I still keep in contact with, are doing okay. But there's this great segment of society that is not doing okay. And Barron did not mention anything about those people in their article. They were only concerned about the people who had plenty of money. And why did a man have to have an 8-figure retirement in his IRA when he could spend some of that money? And yet, that's okay. It's okay for them to feel like that, but I don't think it's appropriate. I think we'd be better off talking about those who are struggling. What are we going to do about those who struggle? You know, over the years, companies have done away with pension plans. There are not many companies now that offer a pension. The government offers pensions, but most companies have gotten away from pensions and have put the money more in the hands of their employees, offering 401ks and IRAs and things like that, and contributing to those things as opposed to a pension plan. And if you look at Social Security, the maximum Social Security in this country, the maximum Social Security benefit is about $3,200 a month. But the average benefit is about $1,500 a month. So most people are making somewhere around $1,500, and many are making less because they didn't earn a lot of money. So those people have no way of spending more. They're trying to get by, scrimping by. Now, I am not proclaiming that we have to do better for all of these people, because there are factors involved. If you don't prepare yourself for the future, if you haven't gone out and gotten a good education and gotten a good job. There are many people I know that have jobs and they could look around for another job, but they don't bother to do that. So a lot of times it's their own fault, but still the system is failing them. And we have food stamps. We have 50 million people on food stamps, and 75% of those people are working. So we're doing what we can for people who are close to the poverty level, or at the poverty level, or below the poverty level. We're doing what we can, but we can't do much more. So, I think it's foolish for Barron to write an article about the people who don't spend enough, when we should be worrying about the people who don't have enough to spend. I think it's a shanda that in this country we have people at that poverty level. And part of the problem is that we won't raise the minimum wage. If you look at the minimum wage at $7.25 in most parts of this country. Well, if you're working for $7.25, well, when it's time to collect Social Security, you're not going to have much. Even at $15 an hour, you're not going to have much. But certainly we should increase the minimum wage. That would benefit people down a long way down the road. So why? Why is there so much resistance against raising the minimum wage? I have friends who said that you can't raise the minimum wage because a small employer can't afford to pay $15 an hour. And I say, if you can't afford to pay $15 an hour, you shouldn't be in business. Business shouldn't be run just for the owner. You can't be living off the backs of people and think that you're a great person. If you have a business and you're making money, you should be willing to distribute it amongst the people who are helping you make that money. And that's one of the things with the minimum wage. So if you have a minimum wage of $15 and you want to go into business and you can't pay $15, then you shouldn't be in business. And here's another thing that's very interesting. We have 30 million small businesses in this country. And do you know how many of those small businesses don't have any employees? 24 million out of the 30 million don't have employees. That means it's a mom and pop shop, and the owners are the only ones working in that shop. So small business is not really equipped, in my mind, to pay the salaries that would make retirement, the decent retirement, feasible. If you look at what the criteria for a small business is, it's 500 or less employees. And that's not exactly a small business when you have 500 employees. I mean, I ran a small business with 300 employees. I didn't think it was so small. We were very respected in our industry, and we were not small. But according to the way they work the stats, that's a small business. In any event, I think the thing in the Barron's article is focused totally incorrectly, because if you got enough money to live on, then you're doing fine. And if you don't feel like spending it, that's fine also. You don't have to worry about running out of the money. And if you're foolish enough to not look to the future and to make sure that your heirs are going to collect that money instead of the government, then that's a fallacy. That's what the article should be about. Don't necessarily spend all your money, but figure out a way to keep it out of the hands of the government. I know that may sound unpatriotic, but the way this government is running, unpatriotic is not such a bad thing. That's what I have to say this morning, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.